Can we talk about whiskey for a second?
Sure.
Okay. So we have some here. Brought this special for you.
What do you know about that?
Yeah. Tell me your thoughts about whiskey, Lagavulin. I noticed on the show you got to visit the distillery.
I did. Somebody gave me Lagavulin, a friend of mine, when I was in my 20s, and it was the first really good Scotch single malt that I had ever tried, and I've never been able to find one that has surpassed it in my taste. Coincidentally, my boss on Parks and Recreation, Mike Schur, had the same experience. It was his favorite Scotch. And so right away we found that coincidence tantalizing. You know, we began working Lagavulin more and more into the sort of pastiche of Ron Swanson's characteristics. And so then we were sort of going to London with an ulterior motive of shooting Chris Pratt, who's there working on a film. So we went to London and they said, well, if we're going to go that far, we might as well take Ron to Lagavulin. Right. If you go back and look at a lot of that stuff, you might catch a tear rolling down my cheek.
Yes, yes I did.
It was great fun.
Cheers.
Cheers.
How's that to you?
Mother's milk.
In your book, you talked about you had some time breakdancing.
That's right. I really enjoyed the breakdance period, which in my life was only about 2 or 3 years. It really came and went. It really took off when I was in 8th grade. That's the first school dance that I remember people busting out moves. And it was funny because it was sort of a coming out where everyone had been at home doing it in their basements. And you were like, oh, Mike North, you can pop and lock. You are not bad, bro.
Let's start a crew.
Check this out, yeah. But then by sophomore year of high school, it faded really quickly.
You want it back?
I want it back. Parachute pants were
They were the best.
Yeah.
I had a pair of silver ones. On the virtues of being handy. Tell me a little more about that.
I think the human condition is one of comfort, you know. We'll always take the easier choice. Modern industry figured out how to appeal to that side of our natures and say, well, sure, you could grow a garden, but that's a heck of a lot of work. And you know what you're doing it in? Dirt. You know what that is? Dirty. You're going to get dirt all over your hands if you work in the garden. Stay in, let us grow your vegetables, you know, come to our store, etc. By now, I think we've become so incredibly soft. I have friends that literally don't know the difference between a standard screwdriver and a Phillips head. And it's very upsetting to me. We've lost the ability to even fix a doorknob or almost screw in a light bulb.
Talk to me a little bit about the significance of the mustache, not just in terms of Ron Swanson and a character, but what it means for you in terms of being a man.
Well, growing up, the mustache was a great symbol of virility to me. I associated a mustache with, well, when I can have a mustache, then I can drive the truck, and I can have 12 beers instead of the mere 3 they allow me. So then when I became an actor and I was able to grow a full set of whiskers, I was thrilled that I was able to portray policemen and Irish thugs and what have you, you know, with the different variations and iterations of facial hair I could pop out. Everything took a very sharp turn, though, when Ron Swanson became a popular character, because I began to be identified with my mustache.
How's your steak?
Delicious.
Yeah? Good.
So good.
You talk about food in your book a bit. It's not an antiquated sort of notion, but you are a carnivore. You embrace that.
In this modern age, a lot of attention is paid to matters of health, and I think being a carnivore, especially one that consumes red meat, has taken on a bit of a dark side. I think that there's nothing more delicious than red meat. I enjoy it greatly. I have an ongoing negotiation with my doctor about what I can consume and what I can't. And so far I'm still on my feet, and as long as I am, I intend to eat a huge juicy steak.
Let me ask you what might sound like a silly question, but do you have a favorite wood?
Sure, that's not silly at all.
Okay.
That's like asking a pianist who their favorite composer is. American white oak is, to me, the most noble of woods. It's the stoutest. It's incredibly dense. It's what the hulls of old wooden ships were built of. So if I could only have one wood in my shop, it would be oak.
Oak. Cheers.
Cheers.
good.